I just got a card that I've been wanting forever. It's a ghost, but the slab was cracked, so I got to get it re-slabbed. Oh well, at least I got the card. Welcome to the Card Adventures podcast. My name's Curtis, and I'll be your guide on today's card adventure. You ready? Let's go! Welcome back, listening audience, people I appreciate. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Card Adventures podcast. This is going to be part 2 with Brett McGrath from Stacking Slabs. We do this every Tuesday and every Thursday. Not we as in me and Brett. That would be pretty cool. But just me here every Tuesday, every Thursday, everywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can watch on YouTube. You can follow on Instagram at Card Adventures Podcast. We talk about fun card collecting adventures, collector-driven stuff, PC building stuff. My guy that I like to collect, my parallels that I like to collect within my budget, having a blast in the hobby type of stuff all the time. That's what we're here for, baby. Hope that you are enjoying it. Tell a friend if you are. Without further ado, jumping right back in with my man Brett from Stacking Slabs. All right, everybody, welcome back. Got Brett back again somehow. I don't know how I convinced him to do this with me twice, but I'm very grateful to have him back. Brett, how's it going?
I am excited to be back here talking cards with you, Curtis, and sharing what I've learned about collecting with your audience.
Well, I'm really grateful for you sharing with us. You have been a great inspiration to many, many, many people, I'm sure, myself included. So I want to jump right in here. As an inspiration, I have a question to kind of spark things off for today. And that is, what would you say to the collector out there that's kind of floundering right now? They've heard the things that we've shared before. They've had, the idea of collecting focus, buying what they like and not what other people like. They have been collecting for a while maybe, but they're just not feeling it lately. They're just kind of floundering, just kind of stuck. Do you have anything? I'm sure, have you been there? What did you do to get out of that spot? What would you say to that collector that's just like, I'm not burnt out, I'm not done, I'm just just floundering?
Yeah, I think there are certainly ebbs and flows to collecting and how we experience the hobby. There's so many different ways, right? Whether it's Instagram, bidding on auctions, going to shows, and sometimes, it can drain you. I try to always find, even when something I'm doing isn't hitting how it normally is, I always try to preoccupy myself with something else to do, just because there's so many different flavors of the hobby. And so I've never been at that phase since I've been back where I'm like scratching at the surface. But I think one of the things that I always try to recommend is just asking your question, like why. Like if you can't answer your question why you're here and why you're doing this, then it's probably a good time to take a breather. This is supposed to be fun. Like this is supposed to be the escape. Like it shouldn't be too serious. It shouldn't be too stressful. In the last episode, we talked about like me starting my content and, there was maybe more of an investment focus than there is now. And when I realized, man, trying to sell like base PSA 10s that there's 1,000 copies and like I'm not having any fun doing this and trying to time the market. Like I was like, this isn't fun, but I know I like collecting. I know I like cards. What do I do? That's when I started to get into collecting Andrew Luck, because I was like, man, this stuff's so cheap. And because he had I started collecting Luck like a couple months after he retired. And so his cards went from like everyone wanting them and investing in them to like the bottom falling out. And I was like, man, wow, I can get these amazing cards for pennies on the dollar. And that was a fun part of it, but it was more the connection. But I think what was interesting for me is I was able to go get my hands on these cards, a variety of cards, and realize what I liked and what I didn't of a player that was not in the limelight. And as a matter of fact, like people are trying to get red. Like I get DMs all the time. Like, I've got a luck collection. Are you willing to buy it? I said, yep.
Wow.
Let me buy it.
That's
So-
interesting to me that the market responded to his retirement by pulling, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
Instantly.
he's done. We're done.
Yep.
Wow.
It was instantly. So for me, that like there, of course, there was some. I needed some time. That news was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the preseason game. Was walking home and got the Adam Schefter tweet about him retiring. I was not in a good place for a while. Blindsided. But there was two benefits of it. One was the fact that I could start learning more about cool cards at an affordable price with luck, and collecting him post-retirement served as therapy for me. It helped me fill the void where I was focusing in on the good memories I have. So I say all that to say, like, whatever it is for you, like, figure it out. But it like, there's ways to figure it out that doesn't cost a lot of money. And that's what it did for me. And that the luck collecting, Curtis, really catapulted me into like where I'm at now. And it helped enhance my product knowledge. It helped enhance my passion, all of these things. So that example is not going to work for that specific example won't work for somebody else, but you got to find what that example is for you. And that might lead you into a more inspired kind of territory when you're collecting.
Absolutely. And what I'm hearing you saying is exploring. Right. So if you're floundering, if you're stuck, if you have collected one way forever and you just kind of feel like you're at a standstill, sometimes it's okay to just stand still. But then other times while you're waiting for that, card that doesn't come up for a long time, explore other options. Chris McGill, a few episodes ago, he was talking about doing research. And so, you can find new ways to collect by exploring options, doing research. And I love Brett's point. If you're going to try something with somebody that's cheap. I mean, you don't have much to lose when you do it that way. I think that's great. And I can tell you, just kind of close this, my journey going into Mike Evans collecting was kind of similar. I was only NBA collector. So when I got back in 2018, it was all about Kobe. And then in 2020, I started collecting some Luka and some LeBron. So in 2020, it was Luka, LeBron, Kobe. And then somewhere in there, I heard you on an episode at some point talk about how you really enjoyed collecting somebody because they were so cheap and you could get, some killer cards for a fraction of some of these other guys. And I was already into lifelong Buccaneers fan, watch every game, head over heels in love with my team. But for some reason, I never collected football cards, never collected them. And so I was like, you know what? I like Mike Evans. Let me try this. And that has taken me into a part of my collection that is really equal to my Kobe collection in my heart. And so, but it started with, I wonder, let me check this out. Let me grab a couple of these cards. So explore, guys. If you feel like you're stuck or floundering, just explore, have some fun, do it on the cheap, keep it going. All right. So a couple of questions for you here that I'm just fun. They can be quick answers if you want to, whatever. But if you could only collect one player, Brett, who would that be?
Andrew Luck, man.
Okay, I like it.
I get questions all the time, like, why Luck? I'm a big time and place guy. I was living on my own. I was doing my own thing. I was evolving into a young adult during his time here. And also, like, I've always lived downtown Indianapolis. Luck lived downtown Indianapolis. I had like 3 or 4 run-ins with him just by happenstance in Indianapolis.
Wow.
And he couldn't have been a more normal guy. And an awesome guy. So there's like those personal moments, but
Very
I've
cool.
also said like I've made quite a headway with the collection I already have on luck. So I don't think I could trash that. I would just continue to build off of it.
That's cool. If you could only collect one kind of parallel, one kind of parallel, it could be in different brands, right? It could be Select, Prism, you name it, but it's just this one kind of parallel, and it can't be a one of one. What would it be?
Oh, well, so this is tough because my answers, I have a lot of it already. I would probably just say, I'll probably just say like the maybe the golds out of 10. Although I have them all in Prism, I could go, whatever optic select, go collect that stuff. If you're taking one of ones off the table,
Got to take the one of ones off the table. That's too easy. No, that's
okay. The golds then.
All right, that's cool. I love it. Speaking of optic, I don't remember last time I saw you with some optic. Do you collect the optic for Colts or just Prism?
I'll collect the gold vinyl one of one. So I've got three. I've got 3 of the 4 optic gold vinyl. Luck is in it 4 years. She's got 2016, 17, 18, and 19. I have the 16, the 17, and the 18, and I have not seen the 19. So there's a plug. If you know where the 19 gold vinyl optic is, Luck, I'm paying strong on it.
Well, I hope you find that, and it's time for my plug too. Then I'm not collecting the gold vinyls, but I am collecting the golds optics for Mike Evans. I need the 2016, I need the 2018, and I need the 2020. If you've got 16, 18, or 20 of Mike Evans gold, just the gold to 10 of optic, hit me up. I'm your guy. Speaking of the 2020, funny thing, I have no clue why. I can't remember the reason because it makes no sense. I sold my 2020 gold optic a few years ago. It was probably even like in 2021. I sold it shortly after I got it. I cannot remember why, but it's funny because it's one of the ones I need. I remember who I sold it to. They gemmed it. They sold it. They don't know where it's at. And I haven't seen one since. But I like the 2020s. I will say though, the 16 and the 17, they've got that shine still. They've got that look to them still. And I'm not huge on optic like I am on Prism, but I do want to complete the gold run for Mike Evans with the optic. Although last thing I'll say about optic, they make better inserts than Prism. Prism has better base. Optic has better inserts minus the Uptown Golds from 2025. No, thank you. Sheesh. Anyways, if you got every Colt gold Prism and black finite, what would you go for next? Got to stay inside the NFL. Got to stay with your Colts. It's Colts, but you've got every finite, every gold. What are you going for next?
I'm probably leaving the current era and going back to 2000 to 2010 or 90s and doing something similar with a different parallel. The problem is, like, I'll go in and I'll buy like a Ken Dilger 97 Rubies. That's like a former Colts tight end, and it's an amazing card. But I'm always left like, I want all of these Colts out of this team set, and it's just a resource thing. So if like I was done with the Prism stuff, then I would have more resources to spend in other areas. If I did it with like 2000s, it would be like, finest, gold refractors or reds or something like that. But I would move to another era for sure.
That's cool. There's been certain cards that I've thought about going after just because I like that card or that parallel so much, be it a Ruby, be it a PMG, that obviously there's no Mike Evans for, and I can't afford the Kobe on, but I've just been like, okay, so I'm going to get an old school Buccaneer guy that I would have, known exactly who they were and probably saw some of them play on the 02-03 championship team, but not have as much of a I guess, a connection for it. But I'm the same way. I want to get through my main focus first. And then if and when I complete that, I would probably do something similar. That's pretty cool. So here's a question for you. Hot topic. What is your take on the whole collector versus investor thing, where we're at with that right now? It's not really the hottest topic, but it's always just kind of looming. There's always this tension, whether it be strong or just kind of there. There's always this little thing. And I'm just curious to know what Brett McGrath's take is on the collector versus the investor.
I'll start here. I'm a big believer that there's many different ways to do the hobby, and the diversity within the hobby and how we experience the hobby makes it the way it is, and it makes it interesting and an entry point for a variety of different types of individuals. So I am pro different interpretations, or however you want to approach it. I also think we as an industry, or us as a hobby, however you want to look at it, we tend to say the hobby and the market. There are many markets inside of this hobby, and how you interact with the cards and the price points and your intentions with those cards is up to you. So I don't care what you are, collector, investor. My content, I communicate to the 30 to 55-year-old collector who's a busy professional, who has kids, who's listening to my content when they're driving to work or dropping their kids off. Like that's who I'm speaking to. But I have no problem with the investor crowd. I think that if you look at the hobby as a whole, there's really, you've got this financial tier on one axis, and it's like the different markets. You've got like the ultra high end, mid tier, entry level, however you want to group it. And on the other line, you've really got the persona type. So whatever you want to define, collector, investor, flipper, whatever. Now, as you can like look at the grid and put your finger on that grid, and within that, like there are so many different market implications and price points of cards based on intention. And I just think like that to me is fascinating. Like I could spend all day not making a blanket statement about the record high sale price of a card and trying to dig into it and understand the why behind it. Like, is this an individual who spent $20,000 over the last sale because they need the card for a set they're building? Or is it someone who's just thinks that they can get a percentage off the top if they're trying to sell the card? I don't care really what your intention is, but I find that fascinating. I think all of the segmentation and the different categorizations of the hobby is a fascinating topic. And so collector or investor, I don't know. We all have to work together at some level. Like I'd be lying if I said like, I don't want my cards to go up. So does that make me an investor? Right. Even though like my intention is to try to hang on to them. But then on the flip side, I can say I'm a collector. But what happens when that Andrew Luck finite that we talked about last episode from 2012 comes up? I'm going to have to make sacrifices. We're going to Judgment Day, Curtis. I'm going to have to sell my cards. So does that not make me a collector anymore? I think the labels are kind of silly.
And some people would say no. You know, some people,
the bullies,
oh man, hold the hobby bullies. You know what? No, we're right here. We're in the moment. My last question for you, Brett, was going to be, what if you had a message to give to the hobby bullies? I swear it's on my question list right here. If you had a message for the hobby bullies, what would you say to them? Go.
I will say this. I'll start with this before I respond to your question.
Oh man.
My personality type, I'm in my own little bubble with my family in my world, and I'm in my bubble, and I'm like, I'm just worried about myself and my family. So I don't understand the time that people have to concern themselves not only about someone else or another collector in the space, but then to like exhaust their energy communicating about it. Like it makes no sense to me. So I like, if you have something or you're trying to bully me about something, I don't care about you. Like, I don't care about, like, I'm in my own world. So I just think it's kind of weird. I think when people are this outspoken about how someone collects or problems they have, or like worrying about what they paid or why they sold a card, to me, it signals insecurity. It's like, are you not comfortable and confident enough with yourself and how you're operating that you have to go then speak about outwardly about someone else? And it's cards, dude. It's like we're collecting sports cards here. It's like I try to like give people the space when I see this activity and try not to like be judgmental, but like also too, like I'm not trying to get like deep or whatever, but like people have a lot going on in their lives. And I'm always just like, this person's unhappy because of something we don't know about. So I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but my message is like, worry about your own self and your own collection. Like time spent away from that is like, to me, is a waste of time.
I couldn't agree more, man. And, it's funny because, when you talk about worried about your own family, your own problems, your own life, your own finances, to me, I resonate with that so much. And not to get political here, but I treat a lot of politics and stuff even the same way. Like that politician's not going to save me. Not going to change the fact that I got to go to work. I got to be a good father, a good husband, take care of my family. And it's totally different because it's cards. But now we're talking cardboard, it's even like, bro, do whatever you want. Please. You like Panini? You don't? You like Topps Chrome? You think 90s basketball is the only way and anyone else who doesn't do it is stupid? Like, come on, man. Just enjoy your stuff. Take care of your family. Take care of your kids and your wife and all that stuff. Enjoy your stuff without shitting on other people. Sorry, I just think that it's important that we continue to push back on some of that stuff, and you did it in a very tactful way. And I think that this is whether it's collector, investor, 90s, ultra modern, PSA, BGS, none of it matters. This is all just a place to have fun. Avoid the stuff you don't like without pooping on people for their opinions, and find a way to enjoy it. And at the end of the day, I think that's what it's all about.
One final message, well said, Curtis. One final message for me is that you have to look at this from the perspective of the internet is a strange place. I've spent my entire career working on the internet. And if you aren't, good barometer for anyone out there who's getting ready to post something or send the message, if you are not comfortable and confident to say what you're about to send or post to an individual or individuals in person, then it's probably not a good message to send.
Yeah. I agree. And we just keep it positive, keep the good vibes coming, find those relationships that do work, find the pages that you do like, just curate your own experience. I know Brett has said this a lot too, and Chris got into it the other day, but we do have the ability to curate the experience. And guys, I love you. I love this hobby. I love sports cards. I love collecting. And I want to keep it fun, man. All that other stuff can go somewhere else. I'm going to keep it fun. It's all about the cards, baby. So I say we jump into a few more.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Bam! Jonathan Taylor 04 Prism Black Finite. Holy smokes, that thing is beautiful. Brett, how'd you even get this card?
The community is an amazing place. And I think it's funny, a lot of the cards that are my favorite cards, and this is certainly one of my favorite cards in my collection, have come from direct deals or when other people are sources for me. And I think building and developing trust, building network of like-minded people who think like you and collect kind of like you, people are your eyes and ears of the hobby. And this card, I'll never forget this. So it was a Sunday morning, I'm like you, my kids are younger than yours, but I've got small kids, and it was a Sunday morning. I was doing my routine before the kids woke up and looking through my saved searches, this and that. And we had just got done with breakfast, and I had my phone on my counter and on the island. And, I try to be present as a dad and it's something you can always work on and be
good
better.
Thing to do. Yep.
I don't, there's only so much time, when I'm not working, that I'm actually with my kids. So I'm trying not to be on my phone all the time. But we were cleaning up breakfast, and my kids we were getting ready to like go outside, go to the park or something. And I was like, something in me, I was like, I have a moment. Let me just check my Instagram.
Something in me. You're just a hopeless collector, Brett. Go ahead.
I am. I just pulled up Instagram DMs and saw a bunch of blue dots, and I looked at Seed Ice cards, and I saw it was a link in the preview. You know how you can tell.
Yep.
And Chris, Seed Ice Cards, he's a phenomenal Joe Flacco collector and Ravens collector.
Yes, he is.
We often talk about how we mirror each other's kind of collections on the Prism side. He just picked up the 2012 Flacco Finite, which was an incredible pickup for his collection. But he sent me this card, and dude, my heart dropped because Jonathan Taylor's my favorite player from this era. I had a void in my collection where I had no Jonathan Taylor Finites. I could never land one.
Wow.
And this was listed for, I'll tell you this, I can't remember what I paid, but I remember seeing the price and saying I would have paid 5 times this for this card.
I've been there.
So I could not have smashed Ben any quicker. And yeah, man, we talked about the 24s. I think in the last episode, it's just such a cool shot, up close and personal. Man, I love this card. One of my favorites. And shout out to Seed Ice Cards for the lead, man. You gotta thank the people.
I wanted to shout somebody else out too. I was just checking my Instagram to make sure that I got the handle right. And that is Jonathan Taylor Cards. I don't know if you know that guy, but
I do, yep.
Super cool. We've talked a lot, but I wanted to shout him out because I know that this is his guy, and he's got some really cool Jonathan Taylor cards. But that's funny when you were telling me that story. It's like, you know, when you have a card this important, you always remember, like, you know, how it came to you, how you got it, you know, whatever card adventure you went on, whether it was a long adventure or a short one. That's so cool, man. I love this card. I love the photo, everything about it.
I have been offered by, it's funny, I've been offered a lot on this card, and I have been offered by non-Colts or Taylor collectors on this card. And I mean, they've been pretty strong offers, but I'm just like, I appreciate your offer. No, thanks. Like, and I think that's when you know you really love a card, especially when it's like someone's offering you multiples of what you paid for it. It's like, I know I'm never going to get this back. I appreciate your offer, but no thanks.
Yeah, and in the same end, like, people offering you multiples what you paid for, but like you said, there's certain cards out there that you would pay multiple times for, and it really is just because your passion for that particular player, that card, that set, and you how much you love it. You know, I have a bunch of Mike Evans cards that I've overpaid the hell out of, because I wanted them. I didn't want to wait and see if another one would come around, because there's only 10 of them or whatever. In my case, it's usually the gold, and there's only 10 of them. And I know that I've waited 5 years for one before, and I don't want to wait 5 years. So if I, make a stupid offer and it's stupid on my part, oh, well, I want the card. I love it. And that's just how it goes sometimes. Love it, man. Let's jump into this bad boy right here. Oh, man, I'm not going to lie. I'm so jealous because I don't have a guy in 13 I can go after. This 2013 Select Gold Prism. These are my favorite football cards. The Select 13 Golds. You know how I feel about 2013 Select in basketball. And it's funny, they did a different design in football than they did basketball that year. Holy smokes, I love this card, dude. Tell me how you got it. Tell me why you love it, whatever. Just say it. Give it the praise it deserves.
So this is actually a boomerang card for me. So we talked about the pylon in the last episode. I consolidated some cards to pay for the pylon because it wasn't cheap. This was one of those cards. When the dust settled,
that was tough.
When the dust settled about a month later, I said, you know what? I need this card back. Now, part of the reason, obviously, you were talking about how good it looks. It's a great looking card, but owning the first year golds of every, like the Prism Gold of Luck, the Optic Gold, and I have the gold vinyl, but I had a gap. I was like, man, I do not have the first year select, so I need this card back. I was fortunate that this never happens, but I was fortunate that this one came back for auction. I wasn't going to lose it. Landed it again. What's special about this card to me is that you see the pink towel that's on Luck's waistband.
Okay.
That the image of this card, well, you can't see the stadium or who they're playing, but you can identify that because of the pink towel. And the way the schedule fell, this is taken from his rookie season in 2012.
Oh, wow.
Obviously being a 2013 card, and this was actually a game he had against the Green Bay Packers at home, which I was at that game with my family.
Wow.
And Luck, you didn't know what the Colts were because they obviously were picking first year. They were trying to figure themselves out. The Packers were Super Bowl. They were like preseason Super Bowl on like picking as champions. So they were really good coming in, and Luck orchestrated a comeback. He had 7 fourth quarter comebacks his rookie year. This was one of them.
Wow.
And Reggie Wayne was just absolutely insane in this game. And the Colts beat the Packers. And that like win at home was like the start to me of, man, we love you, Peyton. We'll never forget you. But the Luck era really started with that. So knowing that this image is from that game makes this card even more special.
That's awesome. And that's always a good feeling as a football fan when the next generation comes in, whether it's at the QB spot, receiving spot. Like for me this year, I was so happy with Emeka Egbuka. Obviously, first half of the season was much better than the second half. Not that it was bad. He just kind of disappeared, but the whole damn team disappeared the second half of the season.
I feel that as a Colts fan.
Oh, man. So, but I feel good about Emeka Egbuka, and all that to say, that feeling that you just described, I know it. And it's a great feeling to have. I love that card, man. It's just a killer card. Last card here is you brought the man up. You talked about the man, and now here he is right here with the bam 2012 Prism Finite of Reggie Wayne. Holy smokes! How'd you get your hands on this one?
I still can't believe I have this card. First year finite, Reggie Wayne. Man, I love this card so much. It's still raw, by the way, because and this will probably be a grade at the National in person. The card is just
afraid to maybe lose it in the mail or something. Just don't want to take that slim chance.
Yeah, exactly. So the story of this one is, again, like, I don't use Facebook. I have a Facebook. I hardly use it, but like, the Facebook groups for cards, I don't really do that. So I had someone in this like very niche Colts collecting group, a collector just posted this card and was like, hey, I've got this for sale. I'm taking offers or whatever. And someone sent that to me. This was right around Thanksgiving time of last year. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to make this happen. So there was some negotiation. There was some back and forth. We landed on a price that was, it wasn't cheap, but also I felt like I feel pretty good about this in a way. And it was like a 3-day deal of like back and forth negotiation, which is how it should be. I think for a card like this, it shouldn't be easy. And so I was nervous the whole time because people were offline at the holiday. The person I bought it for was actually like, when we were communicating, he was in the hospital having his 4th daughter, which was like I had my 3rd daughter a couple months later. So it was kind of crazy, the timing. But between the holidays, him being in the hospital, people being offline, I was like, I'm going to lose this until like, I could hardly sleep until like the money was delivered and the card showed up on my doorstep. And this card took a ton of sacrifice, man. I had to get rid of a lot of cards that didn't completely fit into the recent vision of what I wanted my collection to be. And great cards, and I'll miss them. But to me, it was like, it's this question you have is like, what do you like more? You like this card, or do you like these other cards? And I just like, dude, I absolutely love this card.
Sounds like quite the card adventure. And that last thing that you said, I like these cards, but I like this one more. Sometimes when you are moving through your collection, whether it's Judgment Day or just making room for another card, sometimes it just boils down to that, you hobby bullies. It's not that I just like this one more. Okay, maybe I've got enough funds wrapped up into my collection, and I need to focus financial priorities on other things. So I'm going to move some cards around so that I can get one that I like more. Jeez. Anyways, I freaking love it. I love your collection. I love you, brother. You are a collector's collector. And I really just appreciate your mindset about the hobby. I appreciate how you embrace the investor, the collector, everybody who thinks different than you, everyone who collects different than you. And I think that's so important. I think that the hobby has to be that it's the escape. That's another thing I said, when we first came on episode 1, I told you a couple things that you have always said that will stick with me. The North Star, Judgment Day, the escape. That's for sure right up there with North Star and Judgment Day. This is the greatest escape in the world. It is so much fun. It is so enjoyable. Let's keep it that way. Brett, anything you want to say to the listeners before we get out of here?
I would say enjoy building your collections. Post your cards. I think we need to continue to post our cards. It's fun because we're in a really strong market and there's more people posting, but I would just always encourage people to post their cards because it can be magnets for other cards. And also, like, this is something that is very subtle, but I would really recommend it to anyone out there who consumes content like Curtis's show or any other shows. Like, if you are enjoying hobby content, like enough where you're regularly listening and you're just, it's a part of your day, like, reach out to the creators and just give them feedback. Like, I appreciate your show. This is what I like. I'm listening to it this way. Like, that stuff is fuel for people who are building out content and trying to do this, as a side project or whatever. So I just encourage anyone out there who's consuming hobby content to just enjoying specific content, reach out to the creators and just let them know.
Yeah. And I appreciate those of you who have reached out to me. I know, Brett, over the years, you've had a lot of people reach out to you, and it is encouraging. But also, guys, encourage each other. Like Brett was saying, when you post your cards, man, this is the community. You ain't got no friends or family at home that's checking out your collection, man. We are the hobby together, and Instagram is one of the best places for that. Anyways, Brett, I've had such a great time with you, and I can't thank you enough for being with us, brother. Guys, I'm sure many of you already listened to Stacking Slabs podcast, but if you don't, Stacking Slabs is the name of his podcast, and on Instagram, of course, he's at Stacking Slabs. Should go without saying, but if you don't know, now you know. Hey, thanks for joining, brother. God bless you and the family. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Curtis.
This has been so amazing for me to be able to interview and ask questions to one of my hobby heroes. Brett, thanks again. If you're listening back to this, just wanted to say again how much I really, really appreciate you. And you know who else I appreciate? You, the listeners, for joining us every Tuesday and every Thursday, everywhere that you listen to podcasts. You watch on YouTube too sometimes, don't you? Yeah, it's there. If you want to see the videos, you can always follow on Instagram at Card Adventures Podcast. Don't forget to follow Brett at Stacking Slabs. Y'all, we're having a blast and we're going to keep this train rolling. I hope that when you get done with this podcast, you've been inspired to build a collection that you can be proud of, no matter what anybody else thinks about it, because it don't matter. All that matters is your PC doing it your way. See ya.